Well, today on Speaking of Horses, we're going to go visit SMILES Therapeutic Riding Program in Darien, Wisconsin. We're going down to SMILES in just a moment.
Horses! Piranha! Oh no! Oh, the humanity! Oh, piranha.
The rural American lifestyle. It's how we work, and it's how we play. It's how we learn and how we enjoy the finer things in life. How we take care of our animals and tend to the land. It's a way of life. Has been for hundreds of years. Now there's a whole new way for rural America to watch TV.
Hey, it's Wayne Williams, Speaking of Horses, and we are here. We are actually at SMILES Therapeutic Riding. Now that's an abbreviation for Special Methods in Learning Equine Skills, but it's SMILES. And relatively new executive director here is Kim Good. Kim is my guest. So we're going to talk about therapeutic riding, the benefits of it, how it helps not just children with physical or mental disabilities, but adults alike. So Kim, welcome, and tell us a little bit about, well, tell us first of all about some of the goals of SMILES.
Sure. So SMILES has been around for 34 years. We were established in 1985. Our main goal really is to provide a non-traditional therapeutic opportunity for both children and adults. We have children as young as 4, and our most mature rider is actually 82. So we run the full range of ages as well as disabilities. We serve a lot of different disabilities that many other organizations may not actually be able to serve. So our primary clients have autism, some have cerebral palsy. We have a lot of clients with hearing impairment or are deaf. We also serve clients who are blind. So we do a lot of different activities, both mounted on the horse as well as off of the horse, that provide therapeutic benefits.
Well, and the program is, like I say, the program is 34 years old now, and that's really hard to believe because I remember coming down here for a 10th anniversary celebration. And, you know, the program has got a rich history. It has always been blessed with people who really care about the program, getting involved in working with the program, being on the board of directors or whatever, because something like this doesn't exist without the support of people who help bring in the financial support, because the actual charge for what you charge the students for sessions is minimal. You've got several horses in a barn, you've got the acreage, you've got the arena, both outside and inside. So it takes a lot of effort to get through this. So tell us about your programs, the ones you offer, because it does help physical problems as well as mental issues.
Absolutely.
So tell us about the programs that you offer here now.
Sure. So we have 3 separate programs. Our first and most well-known is our therapeutic riding program. So that's a mounted program, and the majority of our participants participate in the therapeutic riding. We also have an unmounted program called HEARTS, and HEARTS stands for Horse Experiences and Activities Resulting in Therapeutic Success. This is an unmounted program where the client gets to work one-on-one with a horse as well as an instructor, and they get to learn to groom, they get to lead the horse, they get that quality one-on-one time with the horse. If they also want to ride, a lot of times we'll have them saddle up the horse for themselves, and it's just a great way to allow our clients some more independence when it comes to getting ready for riding. The HEARTS program is also great for clients who are physically unable to ride. So there are a few cases where riding is just not recommended for whatever physical reason. You do have to be approved by a doctor in order to ride, just so that we know it's safe and most beneficial for you. But this is an opportunity for those who cannot ride. Now, our third opportunity we offer are called recreational rides, and these are short, one-time experiences for groups of children or adults who have a disability, and they get to ride. They rotate through different stations. They get to learn about horse nutrition. They get to learn about the on-the-ground work with the horses, and it's just a full, well-rounded experience that helps just give a taste of what SMILES is about.
Well, and that's a new program that on the ground, but it's also very, very necessary, as I can see, because there are the students that just can't get on the horse. But there's something magical about being around the horse, whether you're riding or whether you're just grooming and being with it. There's something magical. The horse has become such a therapy tool that we never anticipated years and years ago that it would be. And I look at it like this: if you are either mentally or physically challenged, especially if it's physically challenged, and you're going through all kinds of therapy, physical therapy, this therapy, that therapy, and all of a sudden, you know, those are all machines that you're working with. All of a sudden you come into a program like SMILES or any other certified therapeutic riding program around the country, no matter what part of the country you're in. All of a sudden the horse is the therapy tool, and the horse can kind of lean over and love you back.
Absolutely.
It's a huge difference. It's a real changer in the game.
Yeah, it is. And you know, there's that bond that happens between the horse and the client knows and feels that reciprocation of love from the horses. So it's something that if you're not familiar with even having a dog or another type of pet, you really can't explain it. I mean, it's something that is just a very passionate experience that you can't get anywhere else.
Well, it's, you know, you talked about when you mentioned dogs, you know, there are the service dogs, the therapy dogs,
Absolutely.
you know, that do wonders in hospitals and nursing homes and all of that. It's no different. The horse is a bigger animal, but there is a connection, especially between kids or challenged adults or kids and the horse. You know, that horse, for some reason, senses just like a dog does.
Yes.
The differences in this person versus one that doesn't have the challenges or the problems. And they just play to it. They just know it. It's a God-given, you know, ability. And the horse works absolute wonders. It's amazing.
Absolutely, yeah. From the physical benefits, just from the movement of the horse, for some of our riders, especially who have cerebral palsy, where their muscle tone can be real tight, just being on the horse really helps to stretch out those muscles. So that in and of itself is great. And then we have a lot of horses where we just know that when there's a child on their back, that they know it and they take care of that child. They know that that's their job and that's what they love to do. So we're very fortunate.
Well, you know, correct me if I'm wrong, but the horse walks at about 4 miles an hour, and the hips sway as it walks. That is about the same speed a human will walk, and the hip movement when you're on the back of the horse is very similar to what you would have if you were walking. So if you take that person, say with cerebral palsy that you mentioned, that has difficulty in walking or can't walk at all, and you put them up there, they get the same speed, the same movement of muscles as if they were walking, and that's extremely therapeutic.
Absolutely. And what's pretty unique about therapeutic riding, and especially our program, is that we have some riders who are in a wheelchair but actually ride bareback on the horse, because the heat transfer from the horse to the human really helps to relax those muscles and allows them to really relax themselves onto the back of the horse. So we have English riders as well as Western. It just kind of depends on what their therapeutic needs are, and that really plays into each rider's goals.
Well, and you have a complete list of things you can do in the arena, from games to, all kinds of activities, so that you're not just going around the arena on the horse. There's something to bring the mind of that student, into play with what they're doing with the horse.
Absolutely. We've actually heard instances of parents who've heard their first word out of their child's mouth happen right here at SMILES. So when you have nonverbal children, it can be an amazing experience just to hear them interact with their volunteer or say walk onto their horse.
I actually remember, I was not here, but years and years ago, I was on the board here for a few years. I remember an instance that left not a dry eye in the place among the people who were here, but a nonverbal student who started out not wanting anything to do with the horse either, and was like 5 or 6 years old. The doctors could find no medical or physical reason why the child didn't speak. It was mental. The child didn't want to speak. And about 7 sessions in, as it was coming off of the ramp, turned around to the horse and said goodbye.
Oh.
And just destroyed the place. I wasn't here to see it. I only know the story, but I am well aware that those kind of things do happen,
They do.
And it's just amazing what it does.
It is. It's for some, especially even children with autism, we hear from parents all the time that this literally is the only therapeutic place, the only type of therapy that their child is willing to do or that their child is motivated to do. So when you talk about a child who may have some behavioral issues, finding what motivates them can be really challenging. And so when you hear that this is the only place that motivates the child, that's pretty inspiring.
Well, you have a lot of fundraisers. You have 2 horse shows a year that are open horse shows for the general horseman or horsewoman that are fundraisers for you. One is coming up not too soon, right?
Correct. We have a weekend event in June, June 20th and 21st, I believe. And then we also have one at our Walworth County State Fair on August 30th.
Right. I go to that one every year.
Yes, I've heard that.
I am the announcer at that event every year and wouldn't miss it because it's, those are great fundraisers. But you also have student shows.
Absolutely.
Where the students can actually show for ribbons at whatever level they are capable of riding, with sidewalkers, with whatever, which, are great for the students.
Absolutely. It's an opportunity for them to really show the skills that they have learned throughout the session. And we do it right here at our facility in our outdoor arena. So it's a pretty amazing experience for that participant's family to get to see all of the things that they've worked on for so long. And the kids are so proud, and the adults are proud as well of just their accomplishments and the things that they've learned.
Well, another question, there is a group, so that people don't think that we are just, that these things just basically set their own criteria. There is a certifying group called PATH.
Correct.
For the, for all of North America, actually.
Yeah, they're actually an international organization, and PATH stands for the Professional Association of Therapeutic Horsemanship. So they're kind of like the leaders in therapeutic riding, both really in North America, but also internationally. And they set standards both for paperwork, as well as safety standards, as well as our instructors are PATH certified. In order to be a therapeutic riding instructor here at SMILES, you do have to be PATH certified. So that really just promotes consistency in our program and across all of our classes and across all of our instructors.
Well, and that also determines, when you're setting the criteria for what students can and can't do, when you're setting the criteria for what students and I'm sure there are some that you cannot accommodate based on certain things. But, you know, PATH has set the standards along with the medical profession so that these standards are, you know, they coincide with and line up with the medical standards and the requirements of therapy for people. So it's a very needed, you know, organization.
Absolutely.
To make sure that all of these therapeutic centers across the country, if they're PATH, because I know you go to a convention yearly, you have programs for therapists, depending on what level you have here. So now tell us about the levels of therapy you have here. Weren't there, I've got you, haven't I?
Yes.
Well, let me say it this way. I know you're new to this. I know that you're relatively new. But there used to be an extended level of therapy that was done in here.
We used to provide hippotherapy.
Hippotherapy, that's the word I was looking for. Okay. Hippo is actually the Greek word for horse.
Okay.
But, yeah, you used to have that next level up because, but you had to have therapists who were certified at upper levels to be able to offer that.
Yes. In addition to having things like occupational therapists and other professional therapists who are not necessarily horse specific. So providing that service is very costly, especially if you are unable to get set up through insurance. So.
Well, it's just, you know, and your facility, this facility just keeps growing.
Yes.
How many horses do you have in the barn?
So currently we have 23 horses,
Right.
2 of which are of the miniature variety, and actually they're behind me.
I see them out there in the arena, yes. So you have 23 horses.
Yes.
And how many acres are here now?
We have 35 acres.
I know that's been added on to as you go a little bit. 35 acres and a great facility, indoor arena, so you can go year round.
Yep, and it's heated and cool.
Heated and cool, so it's
You can't find that anywhere.
no. Most of the time it'll be indoor, but it won't be heated.
Correct.
And then you have the outdoor arena, and you can do almost anything you need to do for the students here at this facility.
Absolutely. And actually for the horses as well. So it's really unique that we are a working farm. So we farm all of our own hay right here on site. And that provides a significant cost savings for us.
Oh, yeah.
Buying hay is extremely expensive when you have a herd of 23 horses. So that's a really unique thing we like to talk about. It takes a lot of volunteer and staff effort to make that happen. So that's
When you can grow your own hay and then get your volunteers to come in and put it up,
yeah.
that is a great saving.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thousands and thousands.
Yes. So, how do people contact you?
So you can contact SMILES a variety of different ways. We do have a website. It's just smilestherapeuticriding.org. You can email me personally at smilestherapeuticriding.org. Otherwise, we have a phone number, which is 262-882-3470, and that's our only phone number in. And you can reach anybody in our office using that number.
Okay, great. Kim, thank you.
Yes, thank you so much for coming.
Now, let's just take a look around the facility. We'll get a few shots of this and kind of show people what's here.
Wonderful. You'll enjoy it.
We also want to give a big shout out to Equessentials, a big supporter of Speaking of Horses for years, and the best all-around grooming and horse coat care products anywhere. Equessentials.
They are our family, and we only want the best for them. No standing water means clean, good tasting, algae-free, mosquito-free, and virus-free water. No risk of electric shock, no risk of fire from faulty wiring. Cool water in the summer, warm water in the winter. Water delivered fresh from the water supply at 50 degrees year-round. Drinking Post Water.
And we want to give a great big thank you to Total Equine, a huge supporter of Speaking of Horses.
Welcome to the world of Orange Slow Feeder, the longest lasting, highest quality slow feed net in the world. We currently have 12 different sizes, and we have anywhere from a small trailer net clear up to a 6x6 brown bale. or a 448 square bale net. And you can contact us at orangeslowfeeder.com. We also have a Facebook page, and we're at Pinterest, and we'll be on Twitter soon.
So this is what's called a sure hands lift, and this allows us to safely and easily move a rider from their wheelchair onto their horse. This is much safer for our instructors while mounting, and it's also a lot easier on the horse's back.
And of course, the other ramps are just for general mounting.
Yes.
Because it is, even if you're a normal average rider, it is recommended you use a step stool,
absolutely.
hopping block, mounting block, whatever you call it, because it's easier on the horse.
Oh yeah. Oh yes.
So this is quite a setup for mounting students right here.
So this setup really helps our students learn how to steer their horse. They learn to steer and weave in and out of those cones. And then on the right-hand side, you can see mailboxes and a pole with rings. The rings really help our riders with some of that fine motor skills as well as stretching. They have to actually physically stretch while on the horse to get those rings up and onto that pole. Same thing with our barrel in the middle. Students bend and stretch down to pick up things. And it can also really be a test of bravery, because when you're handing off a 1,000-pound animal, that really forces you to use your core strength and muscles. The poles on the ground really are there to help direct students and clients over the poles. They learn to steer. Sometimes we do what's called two-pointing, where students are actually basically standing in their stirrups, which is very labor-intensive for the students and really helps to build those muscles. And they will ride that two-point right over those poles on their horse. So these two are a mother-daughter duo called Brenda and Linda. And the way that we tell them apart is that Brenda is the one with the blaze on her forehead. So that's how I remember them. They've been with us for quite some time, and they are great for our unmounted programming, which is called Marks.
Now these are the two miniatures in your 23 horse herd, right?
Correct. And Brenda actually really enjoys being an ambassador for our program. We saddled her up and put some saddlebags on her at our most recent tax sale event, and she collected donations for us.
Right now she's weaving the cones. Perfect.
We can close that to you.
I'm sorry, tell us about the stalls in the facility a little bit.
Sure. So we have a 20-stall barn, and our stalls really are just for in between classes and for feeding grain and some hay in the morning and evening. Our horses otherwise are out in their pasture or their paddock, just to make sure that they have the appropriate amount of free time that they need to be mentally healthy. And all of our stalls have on the front the horse's picture, as well as a shout out to who donated that horse and their horse sponsor. So each of our horses do have a financial horse sponsor, and that really helps us provide all of the care that it takes to care for our horses between hay, feeding, grain, supplements, farrier work every 6 to 8 weeks, and chiropractic care. It's pretty expensive for a herd of 23.
Premium equine supplements with microencapsulated probiotics and digestive enzymes. Our formulas holistically treat all of your horse's nutritional needs from the gut up. We have simplified the science of equine nutrition while providing highly effective and affordable products. In order to have your horse give their best, you should be giving them the best with Equerries.
Well, that's a look around SMILES Therapeutic Riding in Darien, Wisconsin. Thanks for joining us here on Speaking of Horses.